My dear friends, welcome. Thank you for being here with me. My name is Jacob. I am old now, very old. My steps are slow. My hands shake, and my voice is not as strong as before. But my memories are still alive. Some memories fade, some disappear, but some stay with you for a lifetime. Today I want to share something difficult, something heavy, something personal. It is a story about truth, not the easy truth, not the small truth, but the deep truth, the kind of truth that hides in your heart, the kind of truth that follows you everywhere, even when you try to escape. This truth has walked behind me for many years, like a shadow, like a quiet echo, like a name whispered in the dark. I learned a painful lesson when I was young, a lesson I wish I had learned sooner. I learned that silence can be more dangerous than lies, because silence can destroy a love that words could have saved. Let me tell you what happened. When I was a young man, I met a woman named Hannah. Her name still warms my heart. I remember her laugh, soft, bright, full of life. I remember the way she looked at the world, with hope, with kindness, with a beauty that came from inside her soul. She was gentle. She was full of light. And she made me feel like I could start again, like my past did not have to control my future. I fell in love with her slowly, and then all at once. And she fell in love with me too. It felt like a gift, a miracle, something I did not deserve, but received anyway. After months of loving her, I knew I wanted to spend my life with her. I wanted to wake up beside her. I wanted to grow old with her. She made me feel alive again. But I also had a past, a dark, painful past, a past that I wished I could erase. And I knew I had to tell her, at least part of it. One evening, the sky was turning orange. We were sitting together on a small bench near the river. The wind was soft. The water was calm. I held her hand and I told her something important. "Hannah," I whispered. I was married before. Her fingers tightened around mine. She looked at me, with love, with patience, with understanding. I told her that my first marriage had ended badly. I told her we were too young, too confused, that things didn't work out, that we divorced. When I finished, she took a slow breath. She nodded gently, and she said, "Thank you for telling me, Jacob. I am proud of you for being honest." Her words felt like warm sunlight. Her forgiveness felt like a soft blanket, and I believed in that moment that everything was going to be all right. But I had not spoken the whole truth. I left a door closed. I left a shadow untouched. I let silence cover the hardest part of my past. And silence became my biggest mistake. The truth was that my first wife had been a sad and fragile soul, and I had been a broken man. I had struggled with drugs. I was selfish. I was careless. I was lost. I hurt her without wanting to hurt her. My sickness made her world darker. And one day, she could not carry the weight anymore. She ended her life. That truth, that heavy truth, I hid from Hannah. Because I was ashamed. Because I was afraid. Because I believed she might run away from me. I told myself I was protecting her. But the truth is, I was only protecting myself. Still, we moved forward with our lives. We got engaged. We planned our wedding. We smiled. We dreamed. We built a future on a foundation that looked strong, but was cracked underneath. Finally, the wedding day arrived. It was a beautiful morning. The sunlight was soft. The air was sweet. Hannah looked like something from heaven. Graceful, glowing, full of love. I stood inside the small church waiting for her. Waiting to begin a new life, waiting to leave my old shadows behind. But shadows do not stay buried forever. A woman arrived, a woman who knew Hannah, and who also knew me from my past. She looked at me and I could see it in her eyes. She knew I had not told the whole truth. She knew Hannah didn't know everything. She took Hannah aside, out into the garden, beneath a tree where the light fell gently. I watched from inside the church. I saw my friend talking. Her face was serious. Her voice was quiet. I saw Hannah's smile slowly fade. I saw her eyes widen in disbelief. I saw her shoulders tremble. In that moment, I felt something inside me break. When Hannah walked back, she moved like a person carrying a heavy stone. She looked at me, not with anger, not with hate, but with pain deeper than any wound. "Jacob," she whispered. "Is it true?" I wanted to hide. I wanted to run, but I could not escape the truth anymore. "Yes," I said softly. "It's true." I tried to explain. I tried to tell her why I was silent. I tried to tell her that I had changed, that I did not want to lose her, but she shook her head. Her voice was almost a breath. "I could have forgiven your past," she said. "I could have held your hand through the pain, but I cannot understand why you didn't trust me, why you kept the hardest truth locked away. You gave me half of your story and asked me to walk blindly into our future." She stepped back. Tears filled her eyes, but she did not let them fall. "Jacob," she said, "a half-truth is still a lie, and love cannot survive in the dark." Our wedding did not happen. The church emptied. The flowers were left to wither. The music stopped, and two hearts broke quietly. Without shouting, without anger, just the soft sound of trust collapsing. We tried later to fix it. We talked for hours. We held each other. We cried. But something had already changed. Something deep. Something important. Trust once broken becomes like thin glass. You can mend it, but the cracks remain forever. In time, we went our separate ways, not because we stopped loving each other, but because love without trust becomes a shadow of what it once was. And now, many years later, I sit alone. I sit in a quiet house, listening to the wind outside my window. Sometimes I close my eyes and imagine Hannah's laugh. Soft, warm, full of life. I wonder what our life could have been, what our future could have looked like, what memories we could have made. But we lost everything the moment I chose silence instead of truth. So please, my friends, listen to me carefully. Listen to an old man who learned his lesson too late. Honesty is not just about telling the truth. It is about telling all of it. The easy parts, the painful parts, the parts that make you proud, and the parts that make you ashamed. A secret is like a stone in your pocket. At first it feels small, but the longer you carry it, the heavier it becomes. And one day, it becomes too heavy for your hands and too painful for someone else's heart. Do not hide your past. Do not hide your wounds. Do not hide your broken pieces, because the people who truly love you will love every part of you. Trust is the foundation of love, and without trust, love is only a quiet dream that disappears the moment you wake up. Learn from me. Tell the truth. Tell it early. Tell it fully. Tell it even when you are afraid. Because truth is the only thing strong enough to build a love that lasts. Thank you for listening. My dear friends, your presence, your time, your open heart means more than I can ever say. Please like, subscribe, and share so these stories can continue to live and continue to grow.